The expectations are high for Matt Coronato's second year in the pros, but just what exactly can we watch for as he takes a next step?
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. As the playoffs wind down, the sport stops sporting like we want them to. But this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a Boost Story bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone, every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Today, we're going to take a look at Matt Coronato and what can he improve on? What are like the biggest things, I guess, causes for concern ahead of his second year with the Calgary Flames? He's coming out of college, which is an entirely different style and work ethic than the pros. So after year one, what can we expect and what can we hope for? But before we dive into all of that, please make sure you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. So Matt Coronato was the Flames' first overall draft pick in 2022. Did I say first overall? I meant first round pick. He was absolutely not the first overall pick in 2022. But he played at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, not Boston. But this was his first year as a pro. It's a very different style. There's games multiple times a week within days of each other. It's not, I get to like go hang out back in my dorm room or wherever you live on campus or off campus. Like there's a level of intensity that comes with it. And it's normal for any players to kind of take a second to get acclimated and get adjusted. I know that Nick and I have talked about it on here before, but it's like Charlie McAvoy didn't know how to cook for himself and didn't know what to eat as a professional athlete. He was like, all I can make is mac and cheese. And that is not a sustainable diet for someone that is playing professional hockey. So there's a lot that you're learning. It's not just on the ice stuff. It's off the ice and how to provide for yourself. Matt Coronato did struggle in the NHL. He had 3 goals, 9 points in 34 NHL games. We're going to talk more about what might need to be tweaked there, but he was nearly a point per game player in the AHL. He spent obviously a majority of the season down there, and he absolutely crushed it. And these are the steps you have to take, right? Like you hope that this player is ready coming off that summer and ready to enter the NHL. Okay, it didn't exactly work out at first. So he got his trial run and went to the AHL and then eventually got called back up. Struggling, with only 9 points in 34 games. What's that? 1 point every 6 games. That math may be wrong. Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I think I messed that up. But it's not a good number. And there were glaring issues with Coronato's performance. Number one being the skating. His first year was not a very strong skater. Don't want to say he looked like Bambi out there because that's a little too far, but he definitely has a need for improvement there. And he has been working with a team specialist who's like literally a skating specialist, working on how to improve his technique, how to consistently stick with the improvements and not fall back into old habits. And I think that this is important because, there's the video that's been going around of Zane Perrick where he is like being dubbed like the worst skater in the 2024 draft class and like blah blah blah. Sometimes you literally just need someone to pull you aside and to take under your wing, and they're going to take you under their wing and mentor you and be like, hey, we're going to focus on this. And it's not everyone is coming into this league skating like Connor McDavid. This isn't a video game. Not everyone comes into the league with the exact same set of skills, which is why there are better teams than others. But regardless, Matt Coronato is taking the time and effort to improve on his skating and his weakness, and we're hoping to see a change in that this year. I certainly hope that we do see improvement there, because he not only does he need to improve in skating, he needs to improve on his size too. Like, he does need to bulk up, which then creates another quote unquote issue, because then you're having to learn how to skate with more mass. But it all goes hand in hand, and you watch players go through this. Again, I use Charlie McAvoy as an example because you can truly see the difference in size. Like, if you put in the work, there is going to be a difference. You're obviously not going to grow, but you bulk up, and that adds more for what you need to accomplish in the NHL. I am very confident in saying once he gets more comfortable and finding his stride and settling into the professional hockey life, I think he's going to be a true contributor to this team. I'm not saying he's like going to replace Johnny Gaudreau or anything like that, but I would hope to see closer to 15 goals from him this season, especially if he is playing most of the season in the NHL. So this is something we'll just get to keep an eye on and watch and see where we are maybe in December, or American Thanksgiving, because that is the first benchmark in the NHL. But coming up next, we are going to talk about confidence and production, because the two do go hand in hand. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back after this. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. And you will always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guarantee Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it is easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available for U.S. customers. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames and making Locked On Flames part of your day. Make sure you are subscribed wherever you're getting your podcasts and on YouTube. I'm here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. It just started thundering and downpouring, so if you can hear that, I do apologize. It is just really bad right now. But what also was pretty bad, that's aggressive. That's an overstatement. Is a lack of confidence, I would say. And that's not like a dig at Matt Coronato. I feel like any child, any rookie is going to lack confidence in some way. Maybe I feel like this is natural, right? You go into a new job you don't have like the true utmost confidence. At least I don't, but you are stepping into an entire new role, an entire new level of your playing career. And you want to see more from Matt Coronato, right? And this is why I think confidence and production goes hand in hand, because when you're more comfortable and you see yourself, the results of the fruits of your labor with the goals, more ice time, more time on special teams, you are more confident. Like you have something to back up your work. And it's like when you're doing like those critical thinking questions or open response, and it's like explain your answer, you have all your receipts of everything you need to prove why this is what it is. Confidence is not something you are going to like wake up with one day. Can't go to bed asking Santa to bring you confidence, because this is a work in progress. You have to start somewhere. And that started last season, because Matt Coronato came in from college, started training with the pros, started seeing what it takes. You're flying first class, or not first class, rather you're flying private with the NHL club, but you're not being chartered in the AHL, so you're doing things a little differently. And it's again that routine and that off ice stuff that gets you kind of there. Like you're here. And I think with Matt Coronato, you are going to see an improvement. I think that he looked good through development camp. I think that he was great with the Wranglers during the playoffs. But I think with this, you have to extend the leash. And I don't think that that's a ridiculous thing to say. We've talked about it a lot, but like Ryan Huska like allows people to fail and learn from it. We're going to talk more about that a little bit later, but you need to, or Matt Coronato needs to see more responsibility. He has a great shot. And something that the Flames have been missing is, of course, the offensive productions, and a solid shot. Rasmus Anderson last year just did not have it in him with shooting, and that's probably with his injury coming back from that. And like he lacked confidence. So this isn't like just like a Matt Coronato thing. This is I'm a professional athlete thing. And I think that he will be a great asset to the power play. Maybe you don't have him on the first unit. You just throw him on the second. And you need to build up to this. You need to really not just like throw him to the wolves. If you do, you need to have him surrounded by people who will protect him and make sure he succeeds. I don't know. This is like where my internal dilemma is, right? I don't know if you start him in the AHL or the NHL, because you can make very solid arguments for both. You can have him in the NHL playing with the big boys, right? Getting those true NHL reps in. And that's ultimately where you want him. Or do you start him in the AHL to get comfortable, allow him to kind of get his feet under him again, especially at the start of the season, and then look to where you pick up where you left off. There we go. With the Wranglers, you were averaging almost a point per game. You got to find that momentum and look to build off of it. But at the same time, I think there's an argument to have him start at the NHL level. He isn't I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but he's not incapable of playing at the NHL level. Again, you need to get those reps in. You need to find a way to find this confidence and to prove that you can do these things. I think it would be a good idea to throw him on a line with Connor Zary and Sharangovich. We know that Connor Zary is a great center, and we know that Sharangovich had a really good season last year, and he is good line mate, and he had a great season, scored 31 goals last year. Him and Huberdeau were able to build chemistry, and through the month of December, they were absolutely phenomenal. Huberdeau was basically, or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't December. It was January. Huberdeau almost went the entire month of December without a point. But from the end of December until like the end of January, he was basically averaging a point per game, which was pretty good to see, right? But you want to see those kinds of stats from Coronato. You want to see him having like multiple points per game, or like multiple, like a point streak, even if it's assists. Like, he needs to find a way to get on the scorecard. And or the sheet, and set him up in a position where he's skating with good skaters, playing with good playmakers, and he's in a position where it's not all on him. He was fantastic at Harvard. We know this. Now let's get him to the point where he can do that at the NHL level. I am fully confident that you will see eventually, probably within the next year or two, 20 plus goal season from Matt Coronato. I again apologize if anyone just heard that thunder. It just quite literally rattled my house. But you're going to see Matt Coronato take these steps one way or another. He is going to get there. And I hope that it is faster than we have seen Jacob Pelletier get there. I really think that Matt Coronato is capable of being a full-time NHL player. If not this year, then next year, at the absolute latest. And we're just gonna have to wait and see, because Connor Zary and Martin Pospisil were not supposed to be full-time NHL players this year. So maybe we get that this year with them. Who knows? But coming up next, we're gonna wrap up the show and talk about where do we go from here? What are the key factors in getting Matt Coronato to these next steps? But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be right back after this. I love sports, and I love them so much, I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs have wound down, we're getting fewer and fewer games, and the sports aren't sportsing like we want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up any bets anytime I am in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the MLB. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. I am coming to Calgary for the home opener. So if you're interested in hanging out, maybe, I don't know, showing me where like the best hot dogs and concessions are in the Saddle Dome, let me know. With this step in Coronato's development comes, the visible improvement. You're going to see something, whether it's his skating improving, the zone entries or the zone exits, whatever that may be, or you're going to see the tangible differences with the numbers on the score sheet. And that's good, right? You want to see him. You want to be able to see by the box score that he had a good game, and you're not just going off of advanced analytics. Not that there's anything wrong with advanced analytics, but sometimes you want to see you want to see a few assists or goals or players too. In his interview he did earlier, I guess late last week, with the Flames, he talked about how there's like that natural fall off for college players or kids that played college around November, December, because that's when their season starts to wind down. If not, it does end. So, you got those 3 months of hockey in, and then it's over. So, and at that point, you have a very different, like, your season is getting started. Like, it is ramping up. And with these younger players, it's everyone's trajectory, journey to the NHL is different. And, I hope that his goal of maintaining that momentum through the season, I hope he reaches it, because again, that will help with the confidence, which in turn helps with the production. And I don't think that this is a situation where they have like a short leash for him. We know that Ryan Huska really fosters an environment where it's okay to make mistakes, and the young kids, he knows it's going to happen with the young kids, not only because he is a decent human being, but because he coached in the AHL, he got Rasmus Anderson's butt in gear, and has worked in the hockey world long enough to know, like, to manage his expectations for people. It's like, it's really that reasonable. But we don't always see it from coaches. And you don't learn without making mistakes. And that goes for anything. It goes for any position, in any sport, in any job, in any factor of life. Learning and not being immediately benched because you created a turnover or forced or whatever, is a good thing, because then you can go out there and learn and not do it again. I think that was a huge part of Zary and Pospisil's success last year. They were able to take advantage of every moment they were on the ice and learn from it. It's not unexpected or unreasonable to see young players have a tough game or a tough stretch of games, like 2 or 3 games in a row. But that doesn't automatically mean, oh my God, he's going to go to the AHL. He has to go back to the Wranglers. This is unacceptable. Yeah, if it's a continuous streak, then of course. And sometimes you just have to accept that there is room to grow, and you let it happen. And you look for ways to improve upon those, the streakiness. You see professional full-time NHLers that deal with streakiness. I remember 3 or 4 years ago now, Matthew Tkachuk went like 18 games without scoring a goal. And you would have thought it was like truly the end of the world, and like there's all these conversations, Matthew Tkachuk overrated. No. But young players have to learn. And you just have to get used to that and accept that. You're not going to go out there and watch this team is going to make mistakes. And we talked about it a lot last season with how they played so uptight because they were afraid of making mistakes that they made mistakes. Hopefully they're playing a little bit more loose. They're playing loosely, more loose this year. So you can see, hey, mistakes are going to happen, but, you're not going to have to go to WinSport tomorrow because we lost. Ryan Huska's not going to be in the locker room telling Devin Cooley to suit up after the first period when it's tied 0-0. There's none of that. And I think that this is a very positive environment for these young players to grow. I hope that this continues, and I want to see Coronato take these next steps and be truly successful because it's appropriate and it's expected at this point in his development. And I hope that, with one pro season under his belt, he's learned where his weaknesses are so he can step up. So he can be like, okay, I watched enough film. I've talked with enough coaches. I know what I need to do. And he starts implementing that. And I'm sure a lot of the players are doing that. And we will continue to see that through training camp, to the preseason, and then to the 82 game regular season that the Flames will embark on here in just 3 short months. We are halfway through the Flames off season. Season ended in April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah. So we're about halfway through. So there's still plenty of time for them to focus and hone in on those skills. And we're going to just hope that it works out for the better. And again, mistakes happen. Not everyone is Connor McDavid, and baby steps. You're looking for those tangible benchmarks. And that will do it for me here on today's episode of Locked On Flames. My name is Jess Belmosto, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. You can find the show wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube, and you can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. If you are interested in, if you want to hear my thoughts on what player needs to improve on what, let me know in the comments, because I would, I'll happily talk about it, because I know who I want to talk about, but love to hear from y'all. So thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, and I will see you all tomorrow with another edition of this summer improvement series here on Locked On Flames.